Moon Knight, the sixth TV series in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was released earlier this year to mixed reviews. The series, which features Oscar Isaac as a man with a couple of alter egos and as such different characters, was a limited series, but some recently released photos take a look at one of the different characters as we've never seen him before. Today we're looking at unseen photos which reveal a different look at Jake Lockley. First up, what happened in the season finale? Let's see. Well, what didn't happen? We saw Harrow dispose of the other Egyptian gods before Layla releases Khonshu from his Ushabti. Elsewhere, Spector and Grant escape with the help of Tawaret after Spector returned to the Duat because he didn't want to stay in the field of reeds. Khonshu then restores their powers, and Layla figures out that Ammit can be rebound by different avatars, agreeing to provide the avatar of Tawaret, albeit temporarily. Harrow and Ammit are then involved in a fight with Grant, Spector, and Khonshu, with Harrow appearing to get the upper hand. In the midst of all this, Spector and Grant suffer some sort of blackout and somehow overpower Harrow. Ammit is then sealed in Harrow's body by Layla with the help of Spector. She's imprisoned in Harrow's body, with Khonshu then suggesting that Spector finish Harrow and Ammit off once and for all. Of course, Spector doesn't like the idea, and we then cut to the hospital where the pair choose to carry on as heroes. In the mid-credits scene, we then see Jake Lockley carry out what Spector couldn't. He murders Harrow and finally gets rid of him and Ammit once and for all. Did you guys enjoy the Moon Knight finale? Give us your thoughts on the whole series below. So what about these new photos? Let's see. Well, fans must have thought they were never going to see Jake Lockley after we got to episode 5 without Grant's other alter ego joining us. But join us he did, finally in the season finale. But it wasn't until the final credits scene that he turned up, to finally get rid of Arthur Harrow once and for all. Also, he decided to let fans know that he was, in fact, Khonshu's fist of vengeance now that Khonshu had left. However, we're still not sure if we're going to see Lockley again, or Grant and Spector for that matter, as Marvel are dragging their heels a bit and still haven't committed to a second season. But Mohammed Diab, who serves as lead director, has announced that they would like to see life through Jake's point of view at some point. And a couple of weeks back, Disney raised the stakes by releasing stills of the finale, which showed Lockley in a menacing pose, pointing a gun directly at the camera, with another one showing him with a pretty intense look on his face in the famous white limo. Another of the official stills showed Lockley wheeling Ethan Hawke's Harrow out of the hospital to meet his fate, again with a menacing look on his face. With the release of these photos, some fans have suggested Disney and Marvel are preparing to announce a second season, but we're not too sure about all that. What do you guys think? What's next for Lockley and Moon Knight then? This one is a little difficult to predict, as some sources have claimed that Moon Knight is a limited series, whilst Diab has told us how he would like the series to continue in the future. So let's just assume, for argument's sake, that Moon Knight Season 2 does get the go-ahead. What does that mean for Grant, Spector, and Lockley? After all, they do all share the same body, right? It's abundantly clear that Lockley is far more willing to kill than the other two versions, so it seems as though his story could just be starting. He is obviously the most dangerous variation, coming across as super sinister in the recently released photos. And it is this personality that will delight Khonshu. Assuming there is a second installment, we can probably assume that Spector and Grant will both find out about the third alter, as his existence has already been hinted at before. And of course, given the fact that they all share one body, it will be interesting how they go about confronting him. However, some fans have suggested he is just doing what Spector and Grant don't have the stomach for. He is always willing to do Khonshu's dirty work, so expect to see a lot more of him should Season 2 get the nod. Do you guys expect to see a second season of Moon Knight? Next up, the show will be the focus of an assembled episode. Earlier this week, Marvel Studios dropped a trailer for their upcoming episode of Assembled, which will show the making of their hit show Moon Knight. The trailer gives us an idea of what to expect when the Moon Knight episode drops, and features behind-the-scenes footage of the filming process, as well as some of the action sequences being planned out. Also in the episode, we hear from some big hitters who were instrumental in the making of the show, including director Mohammed Diab, star of the show Oscar Isaac, as well as executive producer Kevin Feige. The guys discuss all things Moon Knight, from the characters to the processes involved in making a Marvel TV series. This one will be one fans of the show will not want to miss, as it will give us all a much better look at the lengths the creative brains had to go to bring the show to our screens, and we can't wait. And of course, there is a trailer now available online for you all to sink your teeth into. Will you guys be tuning in to see Assembled, the making of Moon Knight? We have news of an on-set in-joke now. Stay with us to hear all about it. Following the very late appearance of Jake Lockley to the party, some actors in the cast decided to make a little joke about the character's arrival. And the joke in question all stems from the comics, when Jake Lockley actually got Marc Spector's girlfriend, Marlena, pregnant. And of course, May Calamawy's character of Layla is in fact based on Marlena. And Calamawy recently revealed that herself and Oscar Isaac used to joke about the situation occurring once again. Calamawy, of course, represents a Middle Eastern superhero, Scarlet Scarab, and has spoken of her pride at representing the region, saying it's an honor, whilst also revealing that she would be interested in appearing in some sort of crossover with Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange, which will have Marvel fans salivating at the idea. But it was her joke about Jake Lockley which will have had fans of Moon Knight roaring with laughter, after she revealed how herself and Isaac used to joke about their characters conceiving a child. She said, "Gosh, it's like there were 3 people in there. We used to come up with so many jokes when we were rehearsing every episode. Like, wouldn't it be funny if Layla was pregnant with Jake's baby? It just seems like we're gonna have to wait and see whatever magic comes if and when we get to continue this story." Imagine, can you guys see a storyline in which Lockley gets Layla pregnant? And finally, we're discussing what it actually means to Calamawy to portray an Egyptian superhero. Well, as we just touched on, she is, of course, extremely proud to be able to represent the Middle East as a superhero, and rightly so. But what else did she have to say about her transformation into the Scarlet Scarab? Well, Calamawy, who also has a starring role on a comedy show, Rami, has revealed that it is the character's hair that actually helps her get into character. She spoke of how she implored the head of hair and makeup on the show to leave her hair alone, as it needed to be big and curly, before telling of how she wore a hairpiece whilst on set to protect her hair, saying, "You cannot focus on continuity with curly hair. There's no such thing. If I just lay on it, it's going to look different the next minute. Whereas with straight hair, you can sleep on it and the next day they're like, this is great." As well as the hair issue, May revealed how she had to look into the backstory of the character quite a bit and found out that her character is actually pretty political, whilst claiming his motivation is always to hold it down for Egypt, calling the character a true advocate of the North African country. She said, "He fought for what he felt was right, and it didn't matter who it was that was crossing his path." It's pretty political when you read it. She then finished by saying Marvel wanted to keep some of Scarlet Scarab's powers a mystery so they could be expanded on. As usual, thanks for dropping in today, and remember to stop by again next time when we will be discussing a ton of other bits and pieces. And why not share our video today with any fans of the show you might know of? But don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on more great content in the future. Bye guys!